There are people who smiled at you only when you were struggling. They were comfortable with your pain, comfortable with your dependence on them, comfortable with your confusion and with seeing you beneath them. Not because they truly loved you, but because your weakness gave them power. They liked the version of you that needed permission, the version of you that waited for their approval. They liked the version of you that doubted yourself and could be controlled. But now you changed. You grew, healed, became stronger. You found your voice. You discovered your worth, and the same people who once overlooked you are now angry because they can no longer control you. What frustrates them the most is this: after everything they did to hold you down, you still rose. This video is for the person who survived manipulation, rejection, sabotage, and loneliness. Because when God places His hand in your life, no human can cancel your destiny. In the beginning, they were relaxed around you because you were struggling, you were alone, you had no support system, no connections, no confidence, no opportunities. Sometimes they handed you crumbs, a little help here, a little advice there, just enough to keep you dependent. And every time you thanked them for their bare minimum, they felt powerful. They loved knowing you needed them. They loved being the person you had to call, the person you had to wait on, the person you had to impress. Deep down, they never imagined you becoming more. They thought your current condition was permanent. They thought eventually life would tire you out. They thought disappointment would break your spirit. They thought failure would convince you to settle. They believed you would remain stuck. But what they did not understand is this: God was developing you in private. While they were underestimating you, heaven was preparing you. While they saw weakness, God saw purpose. While they saw someone controllable, God saw a future leader. That is why you must never despise small beginnings, because some of the strongest people in this world started with absolutely nothing except faith. And sometimes God allows people to overlook you so that when He elevates you, nobody can take the credit. The Bible says in Zechariah chapter 4 verse 10, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." You were never small in God's eyes. You were simply in preparation. There were moments when life became heavy. You cried in silence. You questioned yourself. You felt abandoned. You felt exhausted from trying. And secretly, they expected you to quit. They expected the pressure to crush you, weaken you, and make you bitter. But instead of quitting, you kept going. You started building your life one piece at a time. You learned new skills, became wiser, more disciplined. You stopped waiting for rescue and started trusting God. And little by little, your life started changing. You gained stability, confidence, peace. Then one day they looked at you and realized something terrifying. You no longer needed them. That was the moment everything changed. Because some people are comfortable helping you only when you remain beneath them. The moment you rise above their expectations, insecurity enters their hearts. Your growth exposes their intentions. Now they cannot manipulate you with guilt. They cannot intimidate you with fear. They cannot control your emotions the way they used to. You finally learned your value, and people who benefited from your low self-esteem often become angry when you heal. When they realized they were losing control over you, they became desperate. Because control is addictive to insecure people. They started telling lies about you. They tried to damage your reputation. They spoke against your character. They twisted stories, planted doubt in the minds of others about you. Some even entered your workplace, trying to sabotage your success. And for a moment it worked. You lost opportunities, relationships. You lost support. People distanced themselves from you because of rumors. Some believed things about you that were never true. And that pain was real. Because betrayal hurts deeper when it comes from people you trusted. But what they meant for destruction, God used for transformation. You lost one job, and God opened the door to something better. You lost fake relationships and found yourself. You lost people's approval and gained self-respect. Sometimes isolation is not punishment. It is protection. God will separate you from certain people so you can finally hear your own voice again. And in that lonely season, you discovered something powerful. You were pouring love into everyone except yourself. So you started healing. You started choosing yourself. You started resting, protecting your peace. And the stronger you became internally, the less control people had over you externally. That is why they are frustrated now. Because every attack somehow made you stronger. You thought the pain would destroy you, but it developed you. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every disappointment taught you wisdom. Every rejection taught you self-worth. Every lonely night taught you dependence on God. You became emotionally stronger. You stopped begging people to stay. You stopped shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You stopped apologizing for growing. And now they are confused. They are replaying old conversations in their mind, trying to figure out where they lost control over you. But the answer is simple. God healed you. And once God heals your mind, manipulation stops working. The Bible says in Isaiah chapter 54 verse 17, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you." Notice what the verse says. Every tongue that accuses you. That includes lies, false stories, sabotage. People may try to fight against your destiny, but what God has ordained cannot be destroyed by human jealousy. They miss the old version of you, not because the old version was happier, but because the old version was easier to control. The old you tolerated disrespect. The old you accepted crumbs. The old you stayed silent and feared losing people. But now you have boundaries, confidence, discernment, and peace. And people who benefited from your weakness often become uncomfortable around your strength. Your growth reminds them they no longer have access to the same version of you. Now they cannot manipulate your emotions. They cannot use guilt to control your decisions. They cannot drain your energy the way they once did. You finally understand this truth. Not everyone who helped you actually wanted to see you rise. Some people help only when your dependence feeds their ego. But God did not create you to live under human control. God created you to walk in purpose. People may try to slow you down, but they cannot stop what God has already spoken over your life. Your destiny does not belong to jealous people. It does not belong to manipulators. It does not belong to people who underestimated you. Your destiny belongs to God. That is why every attempt to destroy you failed. And the greatest frustration to your enemies is this: after everything they did, you still became successful. Because favor from God will take you places manipulation never can. The Bible says in Romans chapter 8 verse 31, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" That does not mean nobody will try. People will try. They will criticize, gossip, attempt to block your progress. But no attack is greater than God's purpose for your life. When God decides to elevate you, no human being can reverse that. One of the most powerful things about you is this: you still do not hate them, you simply outgrew them. You have an abundance mindset. You believe there is enough room for everyone, enough opportunities for everyone, enough blessings for everyone. But jealous people think differently. Even when they have more than you, they still feel threatened by your growth. Because jealousy is not about possessions, it is about insecurity. They preferred you beneath them. They preferred you dependent on them. They preferred you doubting yourself. But your confidence ruined their illusion of superiority. And that is why your healing bothers them. Your peace, success, and independence bothers them. But keep growing anyway. Do not shrink yourself to comfort insecure people. Do not dim your light because others are uncomfortable with your brightness. God did not bring you this far just for you to return to being controlled. The version of you they tried to destroy no longer exists. You are not the same person anymore. You survived betrayal, lies, rejection, and isolation, and through it all, God transformed you. Now you walk, think, and value yourself differently. And the people who once thought you would never make it without them are now watching you succeed without their permission. Do not feel guilty for growing. Do not apologize for healing. Do not return to places God delivered you from. Your journey proves something powerful. People may delay you, but they cannot stop what God has destined for you. Keep building and trusting God. Keep protecting your peace. Keep becoming everything heaven created you to be. Because the same people who underestimated you yesterday will one day become witnesses to the life God built through your pain. And when that day comes, remember this: you did not rise because people believed in you. You rose because God never stopped believing in you. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.